Guys, welcome to episode 2 of the Investment Bootcamp. I'm very happy you guys are here. And all I'm going to ask for you before I start the video is just subscribe and join my Discord. That's all. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now, this is the investor mindset episode. And this is probably the most important episode because there's so many people that get into the market without a plan, without the right mindset, habits, discipline, and they just lose a lot of money because they panic, they sell, or they're like, you know what, this is not what I expected. I expected to put in $1,000 in NVIDIA for it to go up 10-20% in a month and for me to cash out. Well, that's not really what we're teaching here. We're teaching long-term investments, and in order to be a good long-term investor, you have to know what you're in for. And that's why this video is episode 2, and it is the investor mindset. Okay, we're going to go over delayed gratification, the power of compound interest, and why financial freedom is so important, and also having a number to accompany that goal of financial freedom. Okay, now I have to put this butterfly picture here. Okay, I actually just looked up metamorphosis butterfly on Pinterest, and it showed a human instead of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, which is perfect because I too was in my cocoon, right? I too was a caterpillar, and I had to slowly grind and eat leaves and just learn and absorb a bunch of, mindset, motivational videos to actually grow. And when I went through my first correction, I've never gone through a recession. Okay, I've gone through very aggressive corrections, okay, and I've survived them. But also, during that time, it was very hard, just like how it's very hard being a caterpillar, because everything's out to kill you and you can't fly away. But over time, I did grow my wings, but I had to go through that whole process. And it was long, and it was very tedious. It was not fast, but at the end of it, you grow your account, and your moves are a lot, although they're not percentage-wise, not bigger, you feel like you're moving faster. So I believe I've become, sort of a butterfly. I'm not moving as slow as a caterpillar, when your account's smaller. So that's the first analogy of, this video. So stay tuned, guys. Now, the first topic is delayed gratification. And of course, I had to show the Cookie Monster wanting his cookie, but just not being able to get it, right? Now, we all want to be rich. We all want to have cars, and we live in that penthouse, or I don't know what you want, right? But everyone wants something. And the fact that you're watching this video means you don't have it. And, you could just go to Vegas, put it on black, and get it. But that's a 50-50. That's a gamble, and we're not gamblers, okay? Because we actually want to control our destiny, right? We want to make it a certainty. And that's why we have to wait, unfortunately, though. But the good thing is that hopefully you're watching this in your 20s or early 30s, or it actually doesn't, kind of matters what age you're starting your investment career on, because early on you can make a lot of mistakes, and the way you're investing in your 20s and early 30s is so much different than when you're investing in your 40s and 50s, because you're thinking about, your kids' college, tuition, retirement, medical bills are probably, adding up because your parents are probably getting older and they're not working. You kind of have to help them, right? You have a mortgage. You probably upgraded your car and you have that car payment. So, as you get older, you have more responsibilities and you have more dependencies, I guess. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. But the main thing is, right, you got to choose your heart, right? Cookie Monster here, he wants the cookie, but he's controlling himself. And he knows he's going to get it eventually. He knows he's going to give the cookie to Cookie Monster because he's a nice guy, but he wants it now, but he's controlling himself, right? And this chart I have on the right side shows exactly that, right? Shows exactly how our life, right, is going to pan out if you start investing in your 20s, in your early 30s, whatever. As long as you start early, right? This is how it kind of should go and how this example is going to play out, right? So Gary Vee has a famous quote. It says, close your eyes in your 20s and wait till you're 30 to open them, right? Meaning put your head down and just work, right? In our case, it's accumulation, right? So there's two paths you can go as a 20-year-old. The first one is the common people, the red line, and you either party it up, you travel, spend a lot of money, live above your means, buy really expensive clothes, but then what happens in your 30s? Well, in your 30s, life satisfaction starts going down, and until you end up flatlining. Because by the end of your late 30s, you probably already have kids, and kids are very expensive. They actually never stop being expensive, and you just don't have enough money to put into the stock market to invest or build that business you wanted or do whatever. Can you live below your means like I do, right? A 1 bedroom. I have a roommate. I pay $1,000 in rent, right? I have a bed. That's about it. And I have my computer. And no one's saying shit, okay? No one cares, and it's acceptable, right? But I'm not going out to crazy festivals. I'm not going out every Friday, going to raves or look what I'm wearing. This is a $15 shirt, and I think I'm wearing some Gymshark shorts that I bought for $20, probably on the sale they had. And that's it. That's my clothing. I'm a very simple guy because I chose the other path, the blue line. Okay, what nerds do. Right now, you guys know my account. You guys know I have $130,000 saved. But that didn't happen overnight. I did have to sacrifice a lot of outings with friends. I do live below my means. I eat eggs, rice, turkey, and steamed vegetables. That's about it. I don't go to fancy restaurants. I'm not drinking. I'm lucky that none of my friends drink. And because of that, I'm betting that starting at 28-ish to 30-ish, my life satisfaction is going to go up, right? And that's what I'm telling you guys. Right now, I think I did some rough math, and it came out to every dollar I put in, we got around $400 to $500 when we reach 60, 65. Okay, that's a lot. That's a big multiplier. So that's why I don't care, because I know the energy levels my parents have at 55, and they have so much energy. So if I'm gonna age like them, probably better because I have better nutrition and better health habits than they do, then we're gonna have a lot of energy. So what's the rush, guys? Yeah, we're in our 20s, in our prime, right? But the way science is going and the lifestyle we're living, because I know you guys are healthy just like me, we're gonna probably extend our lives, and people are saying 40 is a new 30, right? Just like 30 is a new 20. So let's live for longevity, and let's just, accumulate as much money as you can, because you're gonna see the benefit that just accumulating and investing on that is gonna have. It's exponential. This doesn't even show how exponential it is. And these guys, it doesn't flatline. I think actually life gets more expensive if they have more kids, or just like more problems come up, and this probably just goes down to the point where you're probably in the negative and your kids are now supporting you in your 60s till you probably die. Okay, so do yourself a favor, do your kids a favor, accumulate, be a nerd, and just sacrifice your 20s, guys. And just live a great life in your 30s until you die, okay? Of course, balance exists and everything, but you guys know what I'm saying. Okay, I'm hyperbolizing a lot of things, but you guys are smart. I only have smart subscribers. So the second thing is I had to put the man himself if I'm going to explain compound interest. Now, Warren Buffett, I believe, I don't know how many wonders in the world there are. I think there's 7. I think Warren Buffett said compound interest is the 8th wonder in the world. And yeah, it's very powerful. Just like I mentioned, I did some rough math. And I think for every dollar you invest in your 20s, even teen years, the multiplier is hundreds. I think it's between $500 and $600 for every dollar you put in when you retire at 65. Now for this, I'm just going to play around with my numbers, and I'm going to show you guys how crazy compound interest gets. Because I think you guys have to see it live so you guys know. Hopefully I did link this in the other video. I'm going to link it again in this video description. But I do want you guys to come here and play with this. Right here, I'm going to say I'm 25 and I'm going to retire at 40. Now, how much do I currently have saved up? Well, I have $130,000 $40,000 saved up. And how much do I invest every month? Right now, it did go up to $4,300, but it used to be $4,000. So we're gonna stick to $4,000, and we're gonna see how an extra $300 affects this. Okay, and then right below, you have your necessities. So I actually plan on renting my whole life. If my wife does want a house, then I guess I'll buy her a house. But I actually do like renting. I think it's just, if your refrigerator breaks, you just call. If your AC breaks, you just call. And you can also rent a house. You can rent anywhere you want, right? So I do like the idea of renting. And you can watch a bunch of videos. If you don't agree, leave in the comment if you're going to be a renter or a buyer. Let's see what the opinions are in the community. I think when I retire, I'm going to need about 6,000. No, probably I'm going to put 8,000, right? Because I do think I'm going to retire quite well off. And I do want to eat out a lot, be living in a nice place. So my rent's going to be probably in the 4,000 range, 3,000. Travel, I'm not a big traveler, but just in case my wife wants to travel, or I have kids, since I do plan on retiring at 40, I'm just going to put $5K a month. And then for health, I'm just going to put $2,000. Because I know insurance is expensive. I don't pay it. My employer pays it right now. But I think this is pretty good. 4.5, 15K a month. That's hopefully after tax. So let's see. So in conservative, I think realistically, just because we're individual stock pickers, conservative, it should be 12%. Although I'm going to put 15%. Okay. And then for aggressive, I'm going to put 23. So we can already see that at 34, we're going to be a millionaire. And at 32, we're going to be a millionaire with these compound interests of 23 aggressive and 15% conservative. So what happens if I change this, if I increase it by 300? This one moved a lot. So now I just reduced a whole year of being a millionaire just because I increased it by 300. So what if I increased it another 300, right? So now we're at 4,600. So now this one's still the same, but now I decreased the aggressive compounded interest of 23% by another year. So just by, let's do a smaller account, just for fun. Let's say you have 10K, and let's say you're investing $1,000. You only have 10K, and you're 25, and you do want to retire in 15 years. That's probably too soon. We're probably going to have to scope out realistically to probably 65, where I assume most of you guys are. But you can see, this is probably, you can see how drastic this gets over time. And I know this is going to be super different for every single person watching this, so I highly do recommend you guys just to play around with it. But for my case, you guys see that every $300 I saved and invested, I saved myself a whole year, okay? And those were conservative numbers. So that is Warren Buffett's 8th wonder of the world, okay? I highly, highly recommend you guys actually play with this. You probably have seen millions of videos of compound interest. You probably know basic high-level idea of it, but I bet a lot of you haven't actually done a calculator to see what your numbers actually look like when you crunch them. So please go through this activity, guys, and you guys are going to understand compound interest so much better. And this perfectly translates to the third point of this video, encompass that whole idea of the investor mindset, which is financial freedom and why it matters. And I'm going to put Donald Trump as the mascot for this topic. Why? Because when you get rich, you don't care about no one. No one can cancel you. Isn't that weird, that whole idea of being canceled? This is the world we live in. You go to work, you go to school, and you're trained to not step out of line. You can't say what you're thinking. You always have to be nice. And this is why I think so many people strive for financial freedom, because they don't want to get canceled. I know I go to work every single day, Monday through Friday, and I have to put a certain face on, a certain attitude, and I have to be polite to everyone. And I have to say the highs and the thank yous and everything. And I can't just say what's on my mind. I can't just say, you know what? I don't want to work today. And Also, Trump he didn't have to be president, right? That's just a side quest he decided to go on. Wouldn't it be so cool if you could just decide what side quest you wanted to go on? Whether that's traveling or being a videographer, right? Like a YouTuber or photography or whatever, right? Well, that's what financial freedom is. Doing whatever you want, saying whatever you want, and not having any consequences as long as it's legal, right? I'm not promoting illegal stuff, but for the most part, you don't conform to the rules that the most common people do. Because you can't get canceled, you can't get fired, you can't, oh, I don't like you anymore, I'm not going to invite you, fine, I'm going to find another friend group, I'm going to switch up on you, okay, because you're financially free. And mentally, I'm not financially free, so I can't attest to this, but I can just imagine how much of a toll it's like you take off your shoulders. I think everyone should aim for financial freedom, but also I assume that a lot of people watching this video are saying, oh, I actually like what I do, and I don't want to be like, if I become financially free and I quit my job, like, what would I do? Well, if you're happy with your job, then amazing, right? Stay in your job, and then financial freedom to you could be, inviting your friends out for dinner, for nicer dinners, living in a nicer place. Maybe you probably work downtown, okay? So probably living closer to work, closer to where the life is, or maybe you're more of a country mouse and not a city mouse, and you want land or horses. Imagine being able to pay 2 rents, saying, you know what? From Monday to Friday, I'm going to live my boss girl, my city girl life, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do my Pilates, I'm going to go to the gym, blah, 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 right? And then on the weekends, we completely self-isolate, and we go to our country home. And we just ride horses, we shoot guns, we do whatever. Maybe that's financial freedom to you. Maybe you're lucky and you actually like the job you have. But for most people, they don't like their job and they just want freedom. But you can't have freedom until what? Until you know your number, right? And this goes back to point 2, compound interest. Why is compound interest, again, important? Because without compound interest, you don't know what numbers you need year after year to actually retire. So for me, I'm going to go back to my example. I have 130K, 130K, 4,300. I'm just going to go closer to that number. Yeah, I think this was the amount. And I'm going to put aggressive 23, conservative 15. Perfect. So I know that at 31, I'm a millionaire and I'm already above so much of my competition. And I know that by 40, I'm going to be a multimillionaire and I'm going to be living very comfortably. I could probably retire a couple years earlier, right? 38, 39, and I'll probably still have, you see, at this age, at 40, just because I know my number, right, which is 15 a month, I'm already doubling this number. Retire, let's see. So now we're 39. We're at 12K, we're at 26K. Let's see, if we follow the aggressive number, when could we actually retire? 35, 36, 37. We could retire at 37. Just because I know how much I need per month to be living the lifestyle I want. And that's why knowing your number goes with financial freedom. You need to crunch your numbers, guys. Or at least how much your rent's going to be, how much you're going to go out for food, how much you're going to do for everything. And that's why that goes back to episode 1. And you have to do your budget, guys. If you're not following me on Discord, follow me on Discord, because I literally shared with you guys a Google Doc right here where you can just go in and I literally tell you guys, okay? Let me go here. Let's go to visit. And I literally showed you guys right here. These are all the numbers you have to edit. Of course, you can, delete them. You can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you what to edit. Very intuitive. Just put in your monthly amount you get paid, and then what bank accounts you're going to. And now you're gonna know how much you can put into this calculator. So now we're aiming for financial freedom because we know the power of compound interest. We're using our compound interest calculator right here, and we know it's gonna take some time. So we're gonna live slightly below our means, because right now it's the easiest time to accumulate, guys. Right now I'm accumulating extremely aggressively. But what happens if I'm 32 and I have to cut this in half because maybe I have a kid. So that's $2,000 a month on my kid, right? Well, I'm still going to reach that, right? But I already accumulated so much when I was younger, guys. So we have to wait to get our cookie like Cookie Monster does right here, okay? Because you do not want to be like most people, guys, when you're in your 30s. In your 30s, that's where you're going to see who actually like did their life correctly and who didn't. We went forward, now we went back. That is the investor mindset. Delay gratification. Investing is not about quick money, guys. Compound interest, knowing the power of it. And then financial freedom, knowing what number you need. So just say, I quit my job. I can live wherever I want without stressing about it. That's episode 2. Subscribe. Please, guys, like the video. Comment if you thought this was helpful. What you guys want to see in the next video.